I've got something new today, and it's something a little different. It's not a new club head. I'm using my same Callaway Elite that's been in the bag, but I've got a new shaft to go along with it. This is the all-new Newton Fast Motion driver shaft. This shaft is precisely constructed to have no spine, to make it very consistent. In fact, they say it's 10 grams lighter than their previous Motion shafts. All that should lead to higher club head speeds, faster ball speeds, more distance. Now, Newton has developed a really good system for you to be able to choose which shaft is right for you. They've got these dots on each. On my shaft, I got 4 dots. That means it's intended for a swing speed between 95 and 105 miles per hour. As you'll see today, that is exactly where I sit. But it goes from 1 dot all the way up to 6.5 dots. Those are the Bryson DeChambeaus of the world. And you can match your swing speed and your average driver distance to this chart to figure out what is the best flex for you. Now, this shaft is $325 on their website. Are we going to get $325 worth of performance out of it? That's what we're going to be testing here today as I hit 10 shots with my stock Denali shaft that came with my Callaway Elite right up against this Newton Fast Motion. Let's find out. All right, so we are going to establish a baseline here with the stock Denali shaft, and we're going to see if we get any improvements from our custom shaft. Shot 1. Hit that one just slightly low on the club face, but pretty central on the club. And in terms of carry, that was 229 on 98 mile an hour club head speed. Our ball speed was 139. The spin, 2315, which is a pretty good number for me. If we look at the smash number, 141. And our total there was 254. So not a bad drive for the first one, but I know there's more in the tank here with my swing speed. I can get it up here. Again, started that fairly straight, and it is drawing to the left side of the fairway here. 260 is where it finished. The carry was 237 on, again, 98 mile an hour club head speed. Ball speed 140, so we got it up there a little bit. The reason we did is because that efficiency got just a little better. I hit it a little more central. On the club face, 143. The spin, 2010. If we look at things like the angle of attack, that was 6.2 degrees up, and our descent angle there, 34.1. Here's shot 3. Now on shot 3, I tried to make an adjustment there to my swing, and it definitely worked. I hit more of a little cutter on that one. The club speed was up just a touch, 99. The carry, 227. Ball speed was down though, 134. The spin was a good number, 2225. Efficiency, 136. I wouldn't be upset with that. 249, nearly 250 right down the middle basically. I would not be upset with that shot at all. That one was pretty well struck there. And we got a lot of more carry out of that one. It's our longest so far. Finished at 261. Club speed was 98, so I'm living there right around 98 right now. Carry 239, ball speed 138, smash 141, the spin 2009. All in all, not too shabby of results, to be quite honest, for our first 5 swings here with the Denali. Spin numbers are pretty good. I love to live around 2200, and we're pretty close to that. We've seen a few a little lower, a few just a little higher. Probably would average right around there. But let's go ahead and put in this custom shaft from Newton Golf. Now in terms of the size of the shaft, I would say it's a 1/4 of an inch longer than Newton shaft here. I've got the 4-dot version. I'm going to get the same settings I just had, which was a neutral setup and 1 degree more than the stated loft here on this club, which is going to make it 11.5 degrees, just like we had. So everything is exactly the same. All right, so shaft in hand now on this club. It's definitely a little lighter feeling, and it's definitely a little whippier feeling. Not necessarily good nor bad. It's all about the results once we're in action here swinging the club. Let's see what we get. Shot 1. Boy, it felt faster. I will say that. I wasn't expecting it to really catch up to my swing speed just because of how whippy it felt. But it certainly seemed to. Now I left it off to the right there. This will take a little bit of getting used to, I think. But you can see the club head speeds now hit 100. I don't feel like I took much more of a swing there. We'll continue to test. The carry was 238, the ball speed was 140. Our smash factor 140. The spin was way up there. 2564 now with the Newton fast motion. You can see the angle of attack was also up. So I hit that higher, 7.1 degrees. The descent angle also steeper because it's so high, getting that peak height, 43.9. All right, swing 2 here with the fast motion. That was caught a little heel side, but fairly center of the club in terms of depth-wise where on the club that was hit. My club head speed again hit 100. Carried was 229, the ball speed was 138. Efficiency 138, which is down a little bit because of that off-center hit. And the spin again pretty high, 2689. Total was 248. Swing 3 here. I made a very slight adjustment on that swing in terms of my club path. Distance-wise, 257, so it hasn't hit our top number, although, again, the club head speed consistently faster. Carried 237, that translated to 138 ball speed on a 138 efficiency. The spin number looks good there to me. That's, again, bang on where I want to be, 2225. The total was 257. Again, that angle of attack, 6.5, so still launching a little higher than we did with the Denali. I like that shot shape, and we straightened it out there. We got 2 more here with the fast motion. I seem to want to leave these out to the right a little bit. I don't know if it's the whippiness of the shaft or what it is, but you can see my dispersion circle there on the right is pretty consistent. Club head speed now 101, carried 234, ball speed 140, the efficiency 139. I continue to just sort of miss the center of the club face with this shaft because I think it's maybe just not coming through all the way. Spin 2649, rest of the stats there on your screen for you. We got 1 more here. Oh! That one I hit real high on the club face. That's probably going to be the worst in terms of distance. Well, it's actually, it's not too bad, in fact. I'm surprised by that. But again, you can see that dispersion, everything off to the right there. In fact, 2 balls are basically on top of each other. The ones there that are furthest right, including this last ball I just hit. Club speed was 99, carried 233, ball speed 137, the efficiency 138, the total spin 2999. Let's take a quick look at the stats a little deeper. Then we'll put the Denali back in and give it a few more swings. If you're just looking at the map here, not a ton of distance difference between the two, but obviously the Denali, I seem to be center or left of center, and with the Newton fast motion, I seem to be pretty much right of center, but if we call that one center, everything else is right of that there. So not a massive difference, at least on these first swings, but again, let's take a look at the stats. Certainly I saw the club speed up there a bit. Overall, we averaged 98 with the Denali, overall 100 with the Newton fast motion. Again, I didn't feel like I was delivering any more club head speed. In terms of efficiency, this is actually closer than I thought it was going to be. 140 to 139 with the Newton fast motion, so it was just a little less efficient. Again, I think my face was coming in just a little open. In fact, it was definitely open on all of these shots. Now, I thought I actually hit 5 shots with the Denali, but apparently I only hit 4. So we'll take another one here. In round 2, we'll take 6 shots and we'll take 4 with the Newton to even things out here, 10 shots apiece. If we look at our club path, I like this number a lot better. This is 3.9 degrees here on average with the Denali. And we were much more in to out here with our path with the Newton fast motion. Again, I feel like the head is trailing just a touch, and 7.1 degree is that number there. Let's pop over to the ball data here. Now, in terms of ball speed, we're getting higher ball speeds on average with the Newton fast motion. 137.7 to 138.7. And of course, the club head speed was up there a little bit due to this shaft probably just being a little bit of a faster shaft. Now, launch angle, again, launching higher. 14.3 degrees with the Denali, 15.9 degrees with the Newton fast motion. Spin also about 300 RPM higher. 2140 with the Denali, 2465 with the Newton fast motion. Because the peak height was so much higher, 35 to 29, the descent angle was also much steeper, 35.9 to 41.1. Now this is kind of interesting, but even though my average offline, this is like how right or left of center I hit it, was much, much greater here with the Newton fast motion, 25.7 leaning towards the right and 4.7 leaning towards the left. If you actually look at the standard deviation number, it's tighter with the Newton fast motion, which again makes sense. When we looked at that dispersion map on the screen, we had 10.6 standard deviation with the Denali to 8.5 here with the Newton fast motion. Again, 4 shots to 5. So we'll see how that finishes once we get all 10 shots in us. Now let's look at distance numbers. Carry numbers is the more important number to me. And interestingly, again, the Newton fast motion beats it out. 233 with the Denali, 235 carry with the Newton fast motion. Now, overall, we got more rollout because there was less spin. So 256 with the Denali to 254 with the Newton fast motion. But carry number, you'll know if you watch this show, to me is a much more important number because conditions can be very different out on the golf course compared to a simulator or a launch monitor. So let's go ahead, reshaft up that Denali shaft, see if my swing speed has changed a little bit, because I know folks will be saying or screaming in the comments that as I was more warmed up, I was faster. Of course, if we saw it the other way, you could bet that people would say you got tired quicker with the second one. That's why I'm gonna do this a couple times, just to make sure we rule out all that stuff. I will just remind you, I have no agenda, no horse in the game when it comes to this sort of testing. I am as interested and engaged as you are, because I want to get the right equipment for me. I'm not being paid by Newton, and I'm certainly not being paid by Callaway and Denali. All right, so switching back over here to the Denali, and try to take the same swing. Again, this shaft feels a little stiffer. It is a little bit stiffer at that 60 gram mark. And the ball wants to go a little left of center for me. My club speed again though, 97. So looks like there is something to the speed of the fast motion here. 97, carried 237, the efficiency 141, ball speed 137, the efficiency 141. The spin on that one down pretty significantly, 1759. All right, so I'm gonna hit 5 more here with the Denali. Little toey there, a little toey. And we're getting a lot of draw, nearly a hook there. I mean, you might even call that a hook, but we did finally get the club head speed up. 100 miles an hour there. Carried 236, ball speed 141, smash factor 142, total spin 1945. The angle of attack's up there at 7 degrees. All right, 4 more. And there is my 10th and final swing with the Denali. Just like all the others, a little left of target, finished at 256. Wow, look at that club speed, 95, carried 230, spin way down at 1424. Very interesting. All right, I'm switching back to the fast motion here. We're gonna hit 5 shots with this one. Again, taking a look at that dispersion map, the Denali is fairly consistent. Distance-wise, I did finally hit 1 right of target in that barrage of shots, but almost all of the rest there a little left of center. I'd say they're all in most fairways though. Now after I hit these 5 shots, we are gonna check the stats, and then I'm gonna make one adjustment to this driver shaft combination, which could be the ultimate game changer. So stay tuned for that. But 5 quick shots here with the Newton fast motion before we take a look at the final stats. That was middle of the club face. That felt really good. And okay, we got to our 260 mark there, 261 on 241 carry, 101 club head speed, 142 ball speed. I think that's the best I've seen here today. Efficiency 140, total spin 2564. Really nice result. I'm gonna take 4 more. All right, there's my last one. I made a little adjustment here to my swing path, and man, wow, that's the longest one we've had the whole time, 266. I started to develop a little bit more of a draw. I felt like I was almost slowing my swing speed down, and in fact on that one, it was only 99. What that allowed to do is just to get the whip of the shaft to come through, so it was a smoother swing that traveled much further. It carried 242, finished at 266. That's a great way to finish it. If you were just to look at all these balls, again, there's a couple outliers, but for the most part, I seem to be a little right of target with the Newton and a little left of target there with our Callaway. And again, I tried to take as good as I can the same swing every time. Here's how we finished. You can see all the 100 marks that I hit there with the fast motion. 97.8 was the average with the Denali, 99.5. So just under 2 miles per hour with the Newton fast motion. Smash factor, exactly the same. So I missed the center of the club face pretty much exactly the same. I am a mere mortal. If you are too, hit subscribe. You know the drill. Again, we're seeing higher launch, higher peak height, more loft, everything there with the fast motion. Now, when it comes to ball speed, we did get over 2 miles per hour difference there in the Newton's advantage, 137.1 to 139.3. Launch angle, interestingly, started to even out there. Again, I made slight adjustment to my swing, and in fact, the launch angle was less on average with the Newton fast motion. That's interesting. And this is why you should always get as large as possible of a sample size when you're getting a fitting. So many people just take a few swings, or the fitter just tells them, okay, we've got it, let's move on, yada, yada. But most times you're gonna have to take multiple swings to really bear out the stats and see the differences. Good example right here. Now, in terms of spin, another thing that really started to bear itself out was that the Denali spin is just too low. I told you 2200 is where I want to be. And look at that, 2333 with the Newton fast motion. So over the course of 10 swings, that looked much better as well. Now with that extra ball speed, it allowed our peak height to still maintain a higher trajectory, 34 yards, which is what, quick math, 102 feet versus 31 yards, which is what, 93 feet? So that's considerable, 9 feet of difference in peak height, and that's why our carry, again, consistently 2 yards further there with the Newton fast motion. Our total, 258 to 258. It actually ended up evening out there. So you're gonna get more spin with the Newton, maybe a little bit more rollout with the Denali, but faster ball speeds by, I'd say, a considerable amount. And I'm taking basically the same swing. So there you have it. Does the Newton fast motion live up to the hype? Is it actually a faster shaft? I think it is. I think those 10 shots with each made it pretty definitive in my mind that it certainly does. Now, as I mentioned, depending on conditions, whether it's fast and firm or whether it is wet and sloppy out there like I play in the morning a lot, it could make an even bigger difference. In fact, if I was out here at my home course, Carrollwood Country Club, being so wet, the rollout numbers that we're seeing that sort of caught the Denali up are not going to happen out on course. You're going to see a much bigger gap, probably about 5 yards out on course with the Newton fast motion. So I absolutely think you're going to gain club head speed, ball speed, and of course, distance with the Newton fast motion. What a fun test. Hopefully you had fun as well. I'd love to hear your comments. If there's anything that I missed here during the testing, let me know down below. Hit that subscribe button as always, and I'll catch you back next time on another edition of Let's Play Through.